Shoreviewken!
Nightmare of Bill Stein.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm taking a look at Star Gladiator 2, Nightmare of Bill Stein, otherwise known as Plasma Sword. This game was developed by Capcom and released in arcades in 1998 and on the Dreamcast in 1999. It's basically the answer to what would happen if Capcom was given rights to make a Star Wars game. There's no denying that Star Wars was the inspiration for Star Gladiator, with characters strongly resembling Chewbacca, Darth Vader, and others, and a lot of characters using some variation of the lightsaber. Both games in the Star Gladiator series were released worldwide, but this is definitely one of Capcom's more obscure series. The plot to Star Gladiator 2 picks up 1 year after the events of the first game, where intergalactic bounty hunter Hayato, with the aid of his friends, was able to defeat Bill Stein and bring an end to the Fourth Empire. Bill Stein has now returned with a new cybernetic body and begun rebuilding the Fourth Empire in an effort to once again wreak havoc on the universe. So Hayato and his friends, along with some new allies, rally together to once again defeat Bill Stein and bring down his evil empire. Again, a plot obviously inspired by Star Wars, but with characters from Earth being the main protagonists, as opposed to being from some far-off galaxy, though those characters are included as well. Star Gladiator 2 is a weapons-based fighting game, which is really unusual for Capcom. Actually, I can't think of any other weapons-based fighting games they've produced off the top of my head. Each character wields their own unique plasma weapon for the most part, and there are a lot of variants that I'm surprised haven't been featured in Star Wars yet, like a plasma rapier and the plasma broadsword, even a plasma axe and yo-yos, which are pretty cool. Star Gladiator controls a lot like the Rival Schools games. It's essentially a 2D fighter with the ability to sidestep thrown in, along with a basic combo system and special moves executed in the same way you would in pretty much any other 2D fighter. So basically, Rival Schools with lightsabers and no tag feature. The combat itself is pretty good. Like I said, there's a basic combo system in place. It's nothing as deep as you'll find in Tekken or other fully 3D fighters, but for a game that's basically Street Fighter with sidestepping, it's certainly passable. The controls are pretty simple as well, 3 attack buttons and a sidestep button, with the triggers used to perform throws and activate a character's plasma field, which if successful allows the character to briefly enter a powered up mode to deal some major damage. Unlike the first game, you fight on an infinite plane, so ring outs are no longer a factor. As I said before, special moves are performed the same way you would in any other fighting game, with quarter circles, Shoreviewken button presses, and the like. You've got a plasma gauge located at the bottom of the screen that fills up to 3 stocks, and super moves, referred to here as plasma strikes, can be formed by simply performing the button sequence for a normal special move combined with the throw button. It's definitely not the deepest fighting game ever produced, but it is fast-paced and really fun, with a very large roster of characters, half of them basically being reskins of the original characters, with some modified movesets, but still a lot of variety. As I said before, you can compare this to Capcom's other 3D fighters that were being released at the time, i.e. Rival Schools and the Street Fighter EX series. If you enjoyed the gameplay in those, you'd most likely enjoy Star Gladiator 2. Graphically, Star Gladiator 2 isn't so great. It was developed on Xeon 2 hardware, which is an updated version of the PlayStation-based Xeon 1 hardware, and I don't really know that the graphics were updated for the Dreamcast release. It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look nearly as good as, say, Project Justice, which had better character renders and better looking stages. So it's not so good, but it's not terrible either. I at least really like the character design and the stage design. Even if they don't really take full advantage of the Dreamcast hardware, the art direction is good. I really like the sound design though, but then again, there aren't a lot of Capcom games from the 90s that I wouldn't say that about. This is another great soundtrack by Alpha Lyla. It's a mix of passive electronica music with some high intensity speed metal, and it all sounds great.
Round 1. Fight!
So, Star Gladiator 2 is pretty awesome. I don't think it's necessarily Capcom's greatest fighting game ever or anything, but it's definitely worth playing, especially if you're a fan of Capcom's other fighters for the Dreamcast. Like I said, Plasma Sword was released worldwide, and with Dreamcast games still being relatively cheap, this is one game I can definitely recommend. Check it out.